Thank you for joining me today. Today I have our guest, Shanika Canty, here to share her journey in mental health and really talk about how she has overcome her own trials and tribulations and a little bit on where she is today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
What has been one thing that you've overcome that you never really thought that you would actually beat?
Uh, that's a good question. One thing that I've overcome is definitely, I would say for me, like in this like present moment, I would say like the insecurities in my talent. And to just speak more on it, I'm a creative person. I'm always thinking about doing something, and execution has always been my problem. And not being confident in it. And then it's like when you see someone else doing something like the same exact thing that you was thinking about, just maybe like in like a different kind of format, whatever it may be, book, podcast, a blog, whatever it may be. And I'm like, I know I could do that, maybe like a little bit better. Of course, our audiences is different. So I think since like mid last year, I've just been like really going at it, like Casey creates everything and just really knowing that like, hey, I was gifted these skills and talents for a reason and just being my biggest cheerleader. Um, like just really being my biggest cheerleader.
Well, and I'm glad that you've come to a point where you've moved past it, because especially with creatives, and I am myself as well, we do get in our head, and
Yes,
we are our own worst inner critic, no matter what anyone else is saying. Like,
exactly.
you, I, and a billion other people could be doing the exact same thing in the same format, and we would all have our separate own audiences.
Exactly.
That there would be no overlap. We could even not know that we exist,
Exactly.
because there are that many people on the earth, and frankly, we only attract the people that vibe with us.
Exactly. I think it's the same like spirit, no spirit. Like your vibe attracts your tribe. I think I said it correctly. It's somebody Instagram quote probably that I didn't say, but thank you for creating it, whoever made that quote.
But exactly, it's your vibe that attracts your tribe, and if you're attracting a stream of the wrong people or the wrong jobs or situations, maybe it's time to work on ourselves.
You know what? You know what, Reese? I like that. I think you actually need to create something around that. Some people like, why are these situations always happening? Maybe you need to look at the people you hanging around or something. So I'm just saying, maybe you want to run with that a little bit.
Right? I'm gonna have to sit with that one. I feel like it might turn into a TikTok.
Hey, I'm here for it.
Like, as much as I hate TikTok, it's great because it makes making short videos very easy as a creative and someone that, for better or for worse, owns a business.
I have not mastered TikTok at all, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day.
I mean, for me, it was big on overcoming how I don't like seeing my face in video, and now I
Gotcha.
will hop on. But it was really getting to me mentally at the beginning. And especially as a creative, like I'm always front and center on that side of things, whether it's the books I've co-authored or authored on my own or my actual art. But now in 2024, I have to get there and market for my private practice.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous. This is not right. You all need to get straight with the world and learn how to read again so that I don't have to make audio content for everything.
Like, I'm sick of it. Get back to the old times. Please, people, please.
Yeah, get back to the reading and the looking at things. I, I'm,
Exactly.
I'm not a monkey, despite my father's genetics. I will not dance on your puppet videos just so that you buy my shit.
Yeah, that is why I'm like, you have to believe in something bigger than yourself, knowing like, hey, I'm putting forth the effort, you are gonna bless it. Some way, somehow, like just do what you need to do. Sprinkle your little razzle dazzle. I done did my part, okay?
Exactly. And that is a big piece of actually most mental health or wellness in general is people are forgetting the spiritual or religious side of our wellness. We all have to believe in something.
Yes. And I
Like
am very vocal in my face.
even atheists believe in something. They just believe that it's not air quote God.
Yeah, and that's true. I'm like, hey, I'm like, especially with the times that we're living in, I'm like, you need something. I don't know what it is. I mean, if you're curious about what I believe in, I'm gonna, talk to you, pretty much just tell you my testimony. And if you want to know more, I'll give you resources. But I'm like, you have to, it's something like there's something out there for everybody.
And exactly. And if you get really deep into that, you will eventually realize whether you call it God, creator, universe, whatever, it's all the same shit,
Two snaps for you, two snaps when you're right. Like,
right? Like
I'm like,
it's just
it
this
depends on your target
energy.
market.
And it's if you're marketing to white Karens, yep, that's Jesus. If you're marketing to spiritual people, you can go universe or swords. But
Listen,
it all
I love Jesus. I love me some Abraham Hicks. So I'm a cross reference. So I'm like, hey, listen.
right. And I go always in that, like I will give leanings that vary like week to week, because at the end of the day I don't care, like,
Yeah,
and whatever my clients need to help them be happy in their own belief system, that's not
yeah,
on me, that's on them.
yeah.
Now if they've gone a little too far down the Scientology rabbit hole, we're gonna have a discussion.
Yeah,
But like as long as they haven't gone off the deep end and they're still being functional human beings about their belief in religion, then we're fine,
yeah. It's like we're still here, honey. That's all that matters.
right?
We're still here.
But in getting that belief back in yourself back, what are some practices or tools that you found helpful?
Definitely community. Um, having those individuals that you can like you're able to talk to that like, hey, this is what's going on. I don't need any judgment. I just need to be able to be vocal with you to tell you what's going on. And then giving me that constructive feedback that I need to move forward. And shout out to my therapist, Jennifer. She's amazing. She gave me the business, the work, whatever you want to call it. She did not play. Every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, she like, all right, Miss Canty, this is what we got going on. And medication also helped as well. Just to regular, I call them my happy pills. My best friend be like, you took your happy concoction? Damn sure did, sis.
Right? Well then, and even though I myself, like, I pride my practice on being pharmaceutical and drug free,
Yeah,
but anytime a client needs them, I say, no, go to your doctor, go to your psychiatrist, whatever.
yeah,
You need to talk about something for this, that, or the other.
yeah,
And because sometimes, especially like in the first 5 to 10 years of healing ourselves or being in therapy and working on everything,
yeah.
we don't have the tolerance to self regulate. Like,
No,
it's not generally until you're years in do you learn about the actual zone of tolerance and
Yes.
how, it's these magic pills that keep me here so I can function and I can heal. And maybe one day I'll need something else or I'll need them less. But as long as they work for you and you're happy about it, power to you.
T- at first, I was like, it actually took me three therapists before. And at first, it was like, all right, I had a therapist, then I had a psychiatrist. Luckily, my therapist that I have here in North Carolina, we've been working together for I think a year, 2 years. She's a mental like she's a licensed mental health practitioner, but she's also a nurse practitioner. So I'm getting two in one. It was getting kind of hard dealing with a therapist, then a psychiatrist, then their notes are overlapping. So it's nice to have a two in one. So I will also maybe like anyone that's maybe listening who I'm like maybe find like a nurse practitioner or like a psychiatrist or a therapist that has the ability to write the scripts because systems get out of place. You don't know with this person and they don't communicate well. So that definitely helps. But I live for not saying I'm addicted, but I'm like it helps, especially when you know like you're creative and you have your business or if you're still like being a parallelpreneur. Like it definitely helps to have that resource to like take orally.
Well, exactly. And at the end of the day, it's not changing the whole world for you. It's just
Yeah.
making everything more bearable. It's not
Yes.
this magic pill and then suddenly you're walking on sunshine. No, it's you can get through the day with less issue.
Exactly.
Like
And
it's not taking you from hypomania to mania. Like,
yeah, nobody want to see that
oh,
side.
no, and that's a common misconception as well. Like even I was medicated for years. There were times it
Yeah.
was helpful, there were times it was not. And now, if anything, occasionally when my entire brain gets out of whack, I just do a cycle of my ADHD meds. And now, this many years later, generally just like a seasonal cycle is enough to keep me in line for the rest of the year because
Yeah.
it helps me rewire the neural pathways so that I'm functional.
Yeah. And for me, it's getting to the point where I don't even need to take it every day because it's like you said, you know, it's like rewiring the mind and not putting myself in situations where like I'm gonna be triggered or if someone's calling me who I know is gonna like be a trigger or who's texting me, I'm not gonna like not communicate. I'm just gonna like let you know, like, hey, I'm having a moment. I'll be back in touch with you. So like I don't like leaving anyone hanging. So I wouldn't want to leave well, ghosting. That's just what everyone's calling it. I wouldn't want nobody ghosting me. So and like I'm 32. I'm like, I don't have time to be ghosting anyone. This is what's gonna be like what it is. So, you know, it's just a common courtesy. Like and like let's extend that grace to everyone. So
Right? Well, and knowing yourself in a way where you can say, hey, pause.
yes.
Hey, I'll get back to you later. Instead of getting to a point where you're anxious, you're aggravated, you're angry. Like, all of that stuff is within our control. No one makes us mad. It's our damn selves.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh man, life would be so much easier if I feel like if everyone could just like learn like I mean some people it depends on what they've been through and how they're able to speak up for themselves. I recently within like the last 3 to 4 years just recently like started speaking up more for myself, especially like within a workplace. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother different day.
Right? Well, then I get it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in and out of therapy for 16 years, and it's only within the last like 3 to 5 that I've actually seen like the peace, the clarity, the daily happiness. And I'm like, no, I'm 99%. And most people would call 99% like a full recovery, but I am still a perfectionist, like all creatives.
Yeah. Yeah. it's different for us. Um, Especially when you have like three, four, five things at the same time you're trying to execute. Like me, I have like four other things I'm working on. I'm like, you know what, let's reel it in. Right now, for me it's I'm prioritizing my mental health and my well-being right now. Especially, when you're dealing with like what I'm doing, like when you're trying to assist other people with making sure they're okay career-wise, especially in this job climate. I have to make sure that my mindset and I'm okay because when you're talking to someone, then they're like, I've been laid off and I'm about to lose my house. I'm like, oh my gosh, like how do you deal with that? Like it's a lot. So prioritizing and making sure I'm okay before I make sure like my candidates are okay. That's like the biggest thing. So
right? Like I see your business social media, and there are days where I think to myself, no, she has a harder job than I do. At least everyone I'm dealing with is directly within the realm of mental health. You're doing like the supporting of them emotionally, and you're trying to get them best placement in their next job. Like
yeah,
that's double duty in one while doing all this hand holding. And it's gonna be okay when, respectfully, you're not God. You don't know when it's gonna be okay. We just know that it
yeah,
will be.
yeah. I had because one thing people tell like talent acquisition, and I actually got into it by accident. I literally, it was a connection through my church, and it was just like I was supposed to be helping out temporarily, and the next thing you know, I find myself like 2.5, 3 years later now, it's like a career coach, and then someone like, hey, you want to do it like freelance? You could get paid more money commission wise, and I'm like, okay, then like the resume writing and all that was already there, but now it's like it has its moments, its peak moments, but now it's like me, I'm like, wait, I could be doing this for myself, so that's where I'm at now, but still, people are like, Shanika, I need a job. I'm like, well, I'll see what I can find for you. But, that's, yeah, it's a lot sometimes. But I mean, I like helping people find their fit, but still, those stories, it's like, you still gotta, just you work your way through it. So
When
a
I'm
lot of
ready
support.
to retire, can you help me find someone that'll pay me to just sit around topless all day?
Let me tell you, I am trying to find me somebody's rich uncle that just wants a little melanin baby by his side. I'm like, how you doing? Like, how you doing, boo? Okay. I bring out the New York accent if you want it. Okay. So I'm like, you want some water? How you doing? So we in the same boat. If I could retire before I'm 40, listen, I'm like, we got 8 more years.
Oh, the
It's
things
ghetto
I
out
would
here.
do if I was rich. I
Listen,
mean,
you was so I guess we on the same path. That's a conversation we probably gotta take offline.
yeah, I mean, on the PC side of that conversation, I would still see clients. I would see less of them a day, and I would focus on writing the next 5 books and not just the next two.
Yeah, I would get back to my fiction writing. I have so many ideas. Like my best friend, she's my fiction journal. We'd be on the phone and I'm like, listen, I got this brand new idea. And she's like, this is really good. And then I was like, I don't have the mental space right now to even write it. So it's just living in my notepad on my phone somewhere. So that's I'm like, rich uncle, if you want to make your way on over, just come on over right now.
See, to all of our listeners, maybe one of the pillars to mental health is a, a rich uncle, a sugar daddy, sugar mama. Maybe in 2024, but part of mental wellness is someone paying your bills.
And the sad thing, it's not bad to say that. You got some women that I know personally, they like, no, I just want to be a housewife. I want to be taken care of. And there are some men or partners in general, your whatever your dynamic is, I want to take care of somebody. I'm fine. Like make sure home is taken care of. I know someone like when I first moved to North Carolina, she was like, no, I left a 7-figure paying career, nice house, nice cars. And when she met her now husband, she was like, worth, I know he really just wanted me to be at home, had give him a kid. And sis is living her best life. Hey,
See, and even my partner uses it in arguments. You are such a career woman. And I'm like, yeah, I am married to my job. I love it. Like, even if I had the money to not work, I would still work every day for probably an average of 8 hours. Just to be busy,
yeah, volunteer, do something. I
right?
mean, there's but so much alone, I mean, not working that I could do. Um, yeah, that's me. I'm like, all right, I gotta work on something. Like, who needs help with something? You need an ebook, go for it. And all right, I could do that for you. But the beautiful thing is like being able to control what you want to create or what you want to do.
And that's the beauty of my current life chapter, is that I get dedicated writing hours right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, I see clients. Yeah, I run a group program as well, but the joy is in creating the magic, in podcasting and empowering people's stories. It it's equal parts professional as it is creative right now.
I love that. I love that. And, and that balance that comes with it. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing. Even for myself, it's like still like, like that, finding like that balance, like fine tuning it. Like that's the good thing too, you're able like to fine tune it. And I think that's been like another part of like my journey as well, with like dealing with like the insecurities and my creativity and just life in general, and even with helping people find their fit, is just like fine tuning that balance and setting those boundaries and stuff like that. So that's also been like another huge part as well, as I'm like on this journey, self-discovery, faith and family, finances and everything as well. So yeah.
See, and boundaries are such a big topic in both pop psychology and real psychology.
Yeah.
But most people don't understand. Like, it's not just telling someone, hey, this is the rule. It's the holding the line that
Hmm.
is the difficult part, because we all have rules or guidelines. But at the end of the day, like holding that line to, no, you won't speak to me that way, and if you continue to, I will end this call. It There's going to be that pit in your stomach until you've actually trained your own body to hang up to when spoken to in derogatory ways, for example.
That is true. Or if a client or if someone is acting really, really crazy, I'm like, here's your deposit back without a problem. Like, here you go. The deposit is not worth the headache. I actually think I seen someone on Facebook do that recently. I think it was like a $2,000 deposit. And like the client was messaging them at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Like they see the message but not responding. And the lady was getting really mad and they gladly just sent back the deposit. Like, it is not worth the headache.
Right? I had a lady fill out my entire form to be in my paid group monthly program.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even the form slot that says the email to send the monthly invoice. So I invoice her, and a week later she sends me this hateful email of how she never consented to pay for anything after she was already in the group. And I
What?
sent her a message back. I'm like, I am happy to cancel all invoices, But if that is the case, you will be removed from the paid group that you joined that had several questions about this.
Reading is fundamental.
And she was just like, no, remove me. I'm like, you joined. I didn't invite you. You got here on your own. Calm down, Karen.
Reading is very fundamental. We live in such a microwave society. Everybody wants everything. I'm like, did you read the fine print? That's the same thing with grant writing. People like, I'm like, we do not guarantee funding. I'm like, everyone knows about this grant. Like, Canty Creates will do everything to the best of our abilities to, put like together like a great letter of intent, a proposal,
Mm-hmm.
to present, to get funding for. But I'm like, we don't guarantee funding. Even people who've been doing grant writing for like 15 years, they will never, ever promise that you're going to get funding. No.
Right? I
And
mean, even
yeah,
me. My guarantee to clients is that I'll hold their hand the entire way. I can't guarantee that they're going to be trauma free and happy at the end. I mean, I haven't seen anyone fail one of my programs, but I'm sure somebody could.
yeah, people are people. People are human. But I'm like, and it comes to, guaranteeing, I'm like, that the end result is, it's always up to, the end result is always going to be the end result.
And
I think
exactly.
I like that. The end result is always going to be the end result. Hmm, I
Right?
like that.
And that's more based on the effort that we as individuals are willing to put into something than necessarily the framework that is there.
Yes,
Like, yeah, framework can be incredible, but if you want to give it 5%, that's all you're going to get back.
exactly.
It's not until you're ready to give something 100% or more that
Yes,
you are going to get all of your investment back and then some.
yes.
But
Ah,
most
man.
people don't realize that, and they wonder why, especially in their mental health, they're half-assing all like meditation and exercise and their food, and they wonder why they're stagnant and miserable. Like, you're not even trying. You're just looking like you're trying for Instagram.
That's too much energy. Because then people start commenting, asking questions. I'm like, I barely even get through my unread messages from my friends with reels to watch.
Right? Right? Like, I just need to make sure that I'm not wearing a racerback tank top without a bra because guaranteed there's gonna be a nipple. Like, I'm more concerned about not showing a nipple on Instagram than I am anything
Like,
else.
no one went to Janet Jackson's Super Bowl moment.
Right? I mean, like, no one's ever complained before, but I'm sure somebody doesn't want to see them.
And next thing you know, you're on the For You page, you're being blasted in someone's Facebook groups. Like, do you know this business person? They're completely rude online. Like, I can heal you, but yet they're being completely unprofessional with the nipple out. Okay. All right.
I'm like, great, we all have bodies. Most people are born with two nipples.
You just got a little extra razzle dazzle.
Right? Well, and they would talk about the razzle dazzle. They talk about the sparkly bit. Like, I was young, I was wild. I'm grown and I'm relatively tame now. Back down.
I'm not the lioness no more, but I mean, I can still make a little roar, like, "Rah," but
Oh,
we're going to tone it down a little bit.
more like a wow. And the general public doesn't get to see that anymore. It's not that I'm gonna tear you to shreds. It's don't play with me. I'm tired.
I'm telling you, I'm like, as long as I'm in the bed by 9 o'clock, do what you want.
Right? Oh. I like those days, but then if I'm in bed by 9, I'm up by 5. And
I'm up by like 6, well by 9. I'm getting my 8, 9, 10 hours.
right, see, and I I need a maximum of 8. I recharge very quickly. I don't like to be
Um,
awake before 7 in the morning, so that means I have to stay up till 11, otherwise I'm not getting the last 3 hours of my quality REM.
oh, Shanika is gonna get her quality. Believe that. Believe it.
Yeah, you better be getting those 10 hours. Get
Oh, I
some for me
am.
too.
I will. Let me tell you, like I said, I take my concoction and we making it do what it do. My therapist, how much sleep you getting? 10, 11 if I'm lucky. It's that, like I said, fine tuning that balance. But I know eventually I'm gonna have to like peel back. But I don't feel bad because these last couple of months have been, it was a lot like with moving and a lot of like being in transition and just dealing with a lot, recovering from an operation back in February, still recovering from a car accident that happened last June, and like graduating and like accelerating my degree program. I am enjoying this rest.
Honey, you have more than earned it.
Exactly. So
Like,
when my phone is on do not disturb at 7 and it's coming off around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll respond accordingly.
exactly. I am completely do not disturb outside of business hours, and a lot of people don't like that, but I like that because it means that I get my downtime where I'm not worried about calls coming in or messages because sure I see them, but I see them when I want to. It's not a
Exactly.
demand response.
Exactly. Exactly. D&D has been a whoever upgraded that on whatever phone you have, it's a beautiful thing. Even on social media, like that do not disturb until after 8 a.m. But half the time my phone is on silent anyway. So I don't hear if anything comes through unless I physically pick up my phone. So
Right? Yeah, I'm definitely thankful to whoever gave us Do Not Disturb because it's always been a peaceful one for me. Because before it was a thing, my phone was always on silent. It was no, leave me alone, let me do my thing. But now occasionally I have to actually answer a call.
yeah, it may be those, those one-offs. Like I said, especially, if you're like for me, like if you're working with like a candidate who like, they're trying to like redo their resume or, preparing for an interview and they don't get off of work till 5, then they have the children, they're settled down by 8. They're like, Shanika, then you try to be a little bit flexible, but my weekends are off limits. Fridays are off limits, Wednesdays are off limits. But outside of that, it's only maybe like once or twice. Because like I said, when I do my consultations, I like to speak to people. I'm not a person send me your resume. No, I need to physically speak to you. So I make sure I understand this. So it's not a lot of back and forth via emails. And that's why I've been fortunate enough to like get some clients that way is that I actually speak to people instead of just like, hey, send me your resume and like that's it. So a
Right?
lot of people actually appreciate that, like the consultations, even if it goes past 30 minutes. I'm like, either way, I'm gaining your business anyway. So we're earning your business. I like appreciate that. Well, they appreciate the consultations.
Exactly. I mean, even when I can't hop on a call with someone, I'm much happier to have the entire conversation through voice notes
Yeah,
because then you're hearing the tone, the expression, the actual severity of what they're saying, and not just, oh, that you're being dramatic. No,
yeah,
I can hear it in your voice that this is actually life or death for you. Okay, let's fix this. I will make time for you.
exactly, exactly. So. It's, that goes back again to just fine tuning everything, that balance, those boundaries. So I'm grateful though for everything, despite everything, um,
Exactly.
personally and professionally.
What advice would you give your younger self?
Whew. My younger self, I would tell her, oh gosh, oh God, oh, let me see. I would tell her, do it anyway. Do it anyway. Uh, and speak up. Do it anyway and speak up. Because there's a lot of things that happened like in my younger childhood where like I didn't speak up or there like I was a scared like I've been a very odd awkward person since I was like younger. I was like pretty much I had to ask my mother one time, was I adopted? Because how everybody, even my mother, she said like the writing and stuff, I no one in my family does it. But my mother, she's very crazy. Like she could make literally like outfits from scratch. Like she used to take her dog clothes and was sewing stuff. My grandmother, well, God rest her soul, she like asked my mother like, where's the dog clothes? My mother, I sewed it. Or my mother taught her own self how to do hair. She learned how to like do nails from YouTube during COVID. So like,
That's
so I'm like,
awesome.
Mom, I know I'm like, Mom, like I get it from you a little bit, but like when I was in the fourth grade, I was writing stories about two fish being in love. So yeah. Anyways, I would just tell her, speak up, do it. I would definitely say, 2014 to 16, don't talk to that man, don't be a little fast tail because he gonna
No,
mess
don't talk to any men. Just
yeah.
no more men. 2024.
Yeah. So, just don't do it. And definitely don't take the break from don't take a year off from high school. Don't do it. I'm like, who takes a year off from high school? We still graduated though. We still graduated.
I mean,
Um,
I worked full time in grade 12 and I still finished a month early.
I graduated like 2 years later because I took like a long time off. I was like, I like money. I wanted to work, and I started working for Delta Airlines, and I was making money. And at the time, having a high school diploma wasn't really necessary. Like mid 2010s and stuff. Now is high school diploma, bachelor's degree necessary. I'm like, whatever.
Right.
Um,
Well,
and then
and
my
even
yeah,
as a professional with 13 years of training, that high school diploma didn't mean shit then, doesn't mean shit now.
yeah,
I don't know why we live in a world where supposedly you need them if I have all of this education past it. It just tells you that you were relatively obedient as a teenager.
pretty
Relatively.
much. I mean, I had no other choice
Like I know
but
lots
to
of
finish
people
school.
that don't even have them. And they're still very functional, successful adults in society. It's just that we didn't colonize them with a degree and they existed at a point where you could get past it. Now you can't get past it. Like you're screwed without it. And I actually on a mental health level, I know people now that are suffering emotionally because they didn't get it 10 or 20 years ago.
Yeah, and now it's the days where you can't even, 'cause, back in the day, you could actually like you could buy your diploma. Like you can't even do that no more because everything has to be verified. I mean, I tell people, I'm like, I can make some transcripts for you, but I ain't getting nobody in trouble. But that's what happens when you know how to make stuff. Anyways, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother different day. But it's like
Right?
you can't even fake stuff.
No, you can't fake anything anymore, and it's so ironic because we live in a world that is so fake.
I know.
Even most of the people are fake.
It's fake everything.
Exactly. that this paradigm, I'm glad that it's shifting, but we're not there yet.
We're not. We It's still a lot more work to be done. But shout out to individuals such as ourselves who are authentic. Like I tell people, what you see is what you get. If you see me in person, you're gonna see a big old t-shirt with a ponytail or some box braids and some Converse and leggings. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? You're gonna hear that New York accent, and I'm pulling up in a Kia Soul. That's it. That's it. Listen, if I'm struggling, I'm struggling. If I'm doing great, I'm doing great. Well, I don't say struggling, I say challenges. Because I'm like, listen, Cancy Crates is a multi-million-dollar company. We ain't there yet. Spiritually, I am, but it just ain't catch up with me yet. But um,
You'll get
what you see is
there,
what you get. I don't fake nothing. I'm just a very private person. I'm glad I am. People don't need to know everything in my life. Like I still got some family members who thought I was living in Florida. I'm like, no, I've been in North Carolina for 4 years now. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I haven't been in Florida since 2019. And I was back in New York for a year. Then I moved to North Carolina. So,
right? But that's also good because we live in a
yeah.
day and an age where these kids don't even know what privacy is.
Shh, I want to post everything. Look what I had for lunch today. That looks
I'm
nasty
like,
because you can't cook.
exactly, like Stephanie, keep that off Facebook. That looked like something that's coming up later. But on that note, thank you for coming on today and really sharing this story of growth with us because I know at least a handful of people are going to hear this and they're going to start to step towards their authentic self with your encouragement.
Well, I'm glad. That's it. Authenticity is honestly like your best friend. Um, she's there. He's there. They're there. I hope I'm using pronouns correctly. Um, you know, I don't know. Probably no disrespect to anybody. I'm still learning. Give me some grace. But it's there. Authenticity is there. It's your friend.